cat people, how are you today? I'm Catlady Antigoni, and today we are doing this makeup look while I'm talking about books. Yes, again, books, the updated version. I was very happy to see that you liked my previous video about the books, and I said, why not doing an update? Like to tell you what I have read. Spoiler alert, not a lot, because I'm trying to get back to reading, but not in a stressful way. I don't want to feel any pressure because I'm not good in dealing with pressure these days. Whenever I feel that I have pressure from something or someone, this immediately gets bye-bye from my life. And I really don't want to do this with reading and books because I found out again how much I am enjoying reading and I really want to keep doing this. So today, while I'm doing my makeup, I have brought all the books that I have read here and we will do a little summary, spoiler free of course, as always. And since this is the first type of summary of the books video that I'm doing, I would be very happy to read your feedback down at the comments to tell me if you want to see more of these videos, because I was actually thinking to bring you more into my life, to tell you more about my interests, what I'm doing at my free time, and of course to get your input. Like, I'm gonna tell you about some books, and if you have read something similar, if you think that I would like to read some of your favorites, please write down in the comments. I would love to see all your recommendations. By the way, I have started today's makeup by using from Fenty Beauty the Proof Filter Eye Primer, and today's makeup inspiration or idea is to do a passion fruit makeup. I mean, I have seen so many pictures of passion fruits lately and the color scheme is so inspiring to me. So I have brought some reds, some oranges and some greens as well, and I'm ready to create it. I'm gonna take the palette Makeup for the Recently Immortals from Lovelace Cosmetics. From this palette I'm gonna take this vibrant green eyeshadow, almost neon. It's not neon because I wanted some pigmentation. I didn't want this sheerness that neon colors tend to have. It is called Shape Shifter, and I'm gonna go here and start adding a bit of green just to create kind of like the leaves of the fruit or something like this. The idea is to have a very summer-ish look. It's still July when I'm filming this. I don't know when I'm planning to upload it, but I'm trying not to over push myself. I try to take my time for things, so I'm in the mood for something very summer-ish. I hope that you will not see this video in the heart of winter at least. And the plan now is to continue with October 31st as a transition color and then to end up with Blood Juice. And now that I explained all the steps that I'm about to do, let me start telling you about the actual books. As you can see at the first two books, the titles, everything are in Swedish. I'm very proud that I actually read two full books in Swedish, but of course I'm gonna translate everything that you need to know. The title of the first one that I showed you, this one, is The Death of the Photographer, something like that, and it's actually a thriller. I love reading thrillers, you know, crime books, stuff like that. They are my favorite, and although that it had a bit of easier language, I would say, because it was for educational purposes, I really enjoyed it. Well, not the plot that much because it was quite simple. I mean, it didn't have any plot twists, it didn't explain as good as I want some things to be explained, but at least it made me feel so good with reading. It made me feel so cozy by having, you know, my blanket on the couch and a very nice warm tea by my side. By the way, today I'm drinking a cold tea because it's summer and it's really warm today. Anyway, so I remembered how much I enjoyed doing this, and although the book was not wow by itself, I decided that yeah, I might want to do it more, and with books outside my Swedish school or anything like that. So even though the book was okay, It was a good start for me. And I just realized that I said again and again that the plot was kinda like simple, but I didn't explain the plot to you. Okay, so basically the book is about a photographer who is found kinda like dead in his own atelier, and everyone is trying to figure out what happened, and he had some things with the politicians or people with author, and everyone was trying to find what was wrong with him, if he had any secrets, stuff like that. But again, it didn't have any major plot twist, and it was kinda like very built to find the murder. I don't know if the language was like a problem in this sense, because as I told you, the school recommended us to buy the easy version. I don't know if at the original book we have something else. I don't think so, to be honest. And the thing that I didn't like was that it introduced a character, and they said that this character was quite important. I don't want to spoil anything for you, that's why I'm not saying a lot, but if you have read the book, you understand for whom I'm talking about. Quite important for the photographer, I would say. And then they just left it here without giving any more information. I was like, yeah, what about the character? What happened with this character? It's quite important, we need to know. So yeah, I didn't really enjoy this thing, but all in all it was nice. That's why I continued with another book from the same author. Did I mention the author's name? It's Henning Mankell. And the second one, it's called The Pyramid. Actually, we have the same detective. I love when authors are doing this. They're having like a main detective character, and we see them again and again in a series of books. In this way, we can understand better how the detective is thinking about like crimes or his solving abilities, if I can say so. So yeah, we have the same detective. Now we have multiple murderers, which was way more interesting than that. And again, the only thing that I didn't like was it was kind of predictable, first of all, and secondly, it had a mini story in the book which literally gave nothing to the plot. And I'm like, why do you even mention this if you're not gonna use it anywhere? And let me give you not really a spoiler, but my opinion, like the title is quite irrelevant with the crimes, with the plot, with everything. And the title is just because of this mini story that I mentioned. And I'm like, okay, I didn't really get why it was that important to title the book like The Pyramid when it literally has nothing to do with pyramids. It is in Sweden. Everything, the characters, the crimes, everything are happened in Sweden. And I'm like, okay, you are confusing now. So anyway, it was all in all a better book than this one. I think I gave it 3 stars at Goodreads, if I'm not mistaken. By the way, I started a Goodreads account. My name here is Antigoni, Catlady Antigoni. I'm not sure, but I will try to include a link down. And please, if you also read books and if you also have Goodreads, please add me, because I want to have more book recommendations, and I would be like so happy to see what you're reading and what you are interested in. As you can see, I turned off the camera for a while because I would like to do my white lines, kind of like the white that the passion fruit has, and I really have a hard time to do eyeliners on camera. I really want to focus. So what I used is from NYX Professional Makeup, the Epic Ink eyeliner in white, not Epic Ink, Epic Wear it is called. And for the black dots, I have used from Unearthly Cosmetics, their palette Not in the Mood. I love this palette with the cake liners so much. Of course, I used the black from this one. I mean, it's quite obvious. And now I'm gonna continue with the Sol Monet Faux palette from Udensai, and I'm gonna take 2 colors, the Solar and the Warm Light. I'm gonna place the Solar here and here, kinda like a halo eye, and in the middle I'm planning to apply Warm Light. Or should I do it in the opposite way? To have like Warm Light here and there, and in the middle Solar? I gave myself an excellent idea. I'm gonna do it the opposite way then. And back to the books now. So as I was reading this book, the second one that I'm telling you about, I have saw a scene where an animal gets unalive, and this was quite traumatic for me. Like, if you don't know this about me, I am a cat mom. I have 2 furry babies, and I'm very sensitive when it comes to animal stuff and animal cruelty in general. So when I read this, I was like, wow, this was really hard for me. And you know, it destroyed my day. Literally, I was sad for a lot of hours after this. And you know, I started thinking about the question, should books come with trigger warnings at the book covers? I don't know if this is kind of like a spoiler. I mean, the trigger warning could be a spoiler, but I think that a lot of readers would like to know if they are touching specific stuff. And yes, you can tell me like, okay, Google it and find out. But I don't know, when I'm watching like a movie on the Greek TV at least, we had some symbols which they're indicating if it is suitable for all the audiences, or if it has a theme which is not appropriate for younger audiences in order not to traumatize the children or anything. So I don't know, the books should not have the same thing. I don't know. I would like to hear your opinion about this, because I was actually discussing this with a lot of people, and I have heard a lot of input that I couldn't think about myself. Like this whole thing with the spoilers, I wasn't thinking that much about it because, you know, I was so stuck in this book with the animal cruelty stuff being a very minor thing to the plot. Actually, it didn't play any important role, so I didn't really think that things like that could play a role. But then I thought about the girl with the dragon tattoo, again from a Swedish author. He's called Larsson, but I cannot remember his name right now. And then it was very hard as a book because it had sexual violence, and really it was very tiring for me to read this because I had so many negative feelings. Although that you might think like it's just a book. Yes, no, you're getting invested to the characters. I don't know, I'm really curious about your opinion about the trigger warnings and everything. So yeah, please write down in the comments, and I think that we are ready to move on to the third book that I have read for this period. Well, the third book is a book that I read in Greek this time. This is The Child from Colorado from Stephen King, and I actually like this book way more than the other two. And although that the other two gave me something different, I mean, they made me feel so sure about my sweeties. They resparkled this kind of joy that I have from reading books. This actually gave me a good plot. I loved this book. Yes, it's a weird book because it doesn't give a straight answer to what happened, but the way that Stephen King narrates about the whole story, the scenery, the plot is basically around a young girl who is studying to be a journalist, and she's going to an island to practice with 2 old men, and they are narrating a story for her about something that happened in the island, something that is related to the child of Colorado. And actually, I loved Stephen King's way of narrating things. I have to admit that it's my first book from him, and although that he writes the genre that I personally enjoy, I didn't have the opportunity to read anything else from him because I was going straight from crime book to another crime book, and I didn't really read anything from him. But now that I know that I like his writing style quite a lot, I could say, I definitely plan to read more and more from him. I think my eyes are looking good, so we are ready to move on to the next step and tell you a little bit more about my opinion. What I did was to take a bit of fixed potion from Carla Cosmetics. I applied it here at the middle part of my eye, and now I might looking down a bit because I wanted to get completely dry before I add my next glitter. Now I'm taking from some gloss coats, the Look for Rainbow palette, and I'm going to shine through eyeshadow in order to give some light under my eyebrow area and here at my inner corner. It feels so weird to talk to you while I cannot really look at you. It is what it is. I'm just waiting a couple of seconds more and then I will be able to look at you again. Now, what I liked the most about the book was this wholesome kind of like scenery that was described. It was basically an island and then you had the magical sunsets, the summer sunsets. It reminded me so much of Greece and summer in Greece and stuff like that. It was almost nostalgic to me. I don't know why I thought like this, but it was awesome. I also kinda enjoy the way that people were nice to each other. I didn't see any toxicity from the main characters and I really loved it. It was a wholesome book, although that it might leave the reader with this unsatisfaction about the ending, but on the other hand, you kinda have the space to imagine what actually happened, which is something that I hadn't encountered in any other of the books that I was reading, and I liked it. Now, I'm continuing with the same palette, Over the Rainbow eyeshadow. I'm taking a bit with my finger. Look how magical it is. Oh my god, I'm loving it. And I will apply it here, right in the middle, that I applied the Carla Primer Potion. Oh my god. Oh my god, this eyeshadow just elevated the whole look. Wow. Look how magical and almost wet it looks. I love it. What's your opinion about the shimmery eyeshadow? I mean, like a palette with just shimmers. Would you buy this or not? It's quite relevant, but I'm getting so excited with this eyeshadow right now. So it's a topic that I have discussed with a lot of people and some of them are saying, no, if I don't have my mattes, there's no reason for me to buy the palettes. But when I see stuff like that, yeah, for me there is a reason to buy the palette. Moving on to the bottom part of my eyelids, I'm planning to use this palette, the Bad Witch from Give Me Glow. And from this palette, if I manage to open it, I'm gonna use two shades, basically this one. Let me spell it for you. I love the names of this palette. I mean, great job, great job. And then I'm gonna blend it out. Why the Resting Witch Face? I also love this one. I love this palette in general. High quality, amazing names, great color story. 10 out of 10, very, very good. Now, the last book that I read in this period, the fourth one, again in Greek this time, is from Sebastian Fitzek, and it's called Someone Who is Living in an Asylum, something like that. How are you calling this in English? I'm running out of words here. So it's very, very obvious that I read this in Greek. Actually, this was a gift for my 24th birthday from my stepmom, and actually this was a great gift, a great book. I think this is my favorite out of these four. I gave this 5 stars on my Goodreads. I forgot to tell you about Stephen King. I gave it 4 stars, if I'm not mistaken. Again, you can always go and check my ratings. I will have my link down in the description box, and don't forget to give me your recommendations as well. Now, when it comes to Fitzek's book, this one right here, such an amazing psychological thriller. I loved every moment of this book. I felt that everything in the plot had a reason. I'm in love with Fitzek's writing. Yes, it's a very difficult book because it contains some very graphic scenes, I would like to say. So if you're sensitive, if you don't want to read about injuries and blood and stuff like that, I would not say that this might be a good book for you. It also deals with some psychological traumas, I would say. It might have some harming, the self one. So if you're sensitive with these things, it's a very, very difficult book, but a very, very well written book. also, it has a major plot twist in the end, and usually the plot twists are about the killers and everything. No. This was not like that, and this plot twist just made me adore this book. This was so unexpected, so out of nowhere in your face. I couldn't literally sleep at the night that I finished the book because I couldn't really accept that this has happened. It's an amazing book. I have read in the past 2 more books from the same author, the parcel, whatever, and another one, the treatment, and both of them were amazing. Personal favorite, I would say it's this one. Second book, I would say it's the treatment that I like the most, and the third one is the parcel, which is not bad, but out of 3 is my least favorite. I don't know what to say about the author and how he's having the plot in his head, how he's conducting the whole book, the characters and everything. It's just amazing, and I love that all of his books have kind of happy end. It's kind of hard to say that this book had a happy end because a lot of bad stuff happened, but in a sense, what you wanted to happen in the end happened, and this is a pattern to all of his books. So I know that even though that I'm gonna be like, oh my god, what I'm reading right now, in the end I'm gonna be kind of happy with what I read. So I will definitely recommend this one if you want to read something quite heavy, something like a psychological thriller, but it's not for everyone, and I can understand this 100%. And while I'm applying my mascara, let me tell you what I'm reading right now. Right now, I'm back to my Swedish books, but this time I haven't chose any of the easier level or stuff like that, because I actually finished with my school. Yay, I graduated. So I don't really have to read these kind of easy ones. Not that I was finding them very easy, not that I was saying that I was so good for them. No. Oops, mascara. Okay, I can clean it later on. But now I feel like I want to challenge myself a little bit extra and be able to see what I'm gonna get if I read the authentic version. So nowadays I'm reading the Ice Princess, in Swedish, Isprinsessan, from Camilla Läckberg, a Swedish author, and it's kind of difficult, but you know something, I can understand the meaning, even though I'm kind of losing some words that I don't know, and I want to Google absolutely everything. I'm a freak when it comes to this. Like, basically, if you see the 2 books that I read for my school, they are full of notes, but of course in pencil. I don't know, can you see them? Can you see how many words I have kind of noted here? But I never use pen on my books because I want to be able to erase them if I want. So with the new book, The Ice Princess, I try to kind of limit myself from noting absolutely anything, and I know that this is a very good way for me to learn if I note everything, but on the other hand, I feel like I'm wasting, I would say. I don't know, I don't say the word wasting because I'm learning, so I'm spending too much time just to take the notes, and I don't enjoy the plot as much, so I try to eliminate this. To be honest, the original idea was to start with a Sebastian Fitzek book, but it was extremely difficult for me in Swedish. I mean, it had terminology which I had absolutely no idea about. I mean, medical stuff and words that I've never seen in my life before, so it was extremely difficult, and I said to myself that if I try to read this, I will not enjoy it and I will probably stop reading forever this time. I really didn't want to have this in my life again and have to catch up again with this. I really enjoy reading before sleep, so I decided to go with something easier actually, and hopefully be able to read this in Swedish later on. Now, I'm gonna turn off the camera, I'm gonna finish with my face, and then I'm gonna come back to tell you about my future plans and to show you my final look. And now, it's time for the Greek word of the day. Today, I decided to tell you the Greek word for passion fruit, since this makeup is around passion fruit and passion fruit scholars and stuff like this. We have a quite difficult word, or not just a word, we have 3 words to describe this, and these are fruto του πάθους. Fruto του πάθους. As always, I'm gonna ask you to try to write a comment down below using the words fruto του πάθους, or actually tell me the word passion fruit in your own native language. Now, let me tell you what I have used for my face, and after this we can finally do the lips. For blush, I have used this one. This is from Glossier in the shade Beam from the series Cloud Paint. I don't know if this is available, but I love this blush. It's such a beautiful blush. And as a highlighter, I used actually an eyeshadow, this one, which is called Over the Rainbow, because I felt like I needed some orangey vibes, so I think this was quite a nice choice. What do you think? Now, for my lips, I would like to go with something yellowy, orangey, something like that. So I'm gonna start with this yellow lip pencil from Glam Shop in the shade something in Polish that I cannot read, so this one right here. And on top, I'm planning to use from Rare Beauty the shade Inspire. It's very difficult for me to find the shades and the names and everything. I really need to start taking notes beforehand. Anyway, on top, I'm planning to top everything with this one, Over the Rainbow eyeshadow again, that I have used as a highlighter in order to have a balance, in order to have like a flow on my face. So let's do it, and I'm coming back for my final thoughts about books. Now, for this last part of the video, I would like to ask you for your opinion. What do you think about this type of videos? If you like my spoiler-free presentation, if you want to hear more about the books, even with the risk of spoilers, please feel free to write the comments down below. What do you want to see? Of course, again, I'm telling you again, if you have any recommendations, I will be more than happy to know about them. What are you reading right now? Which is your favorite book? Which could be my favorite book from your list? Should I have anything to my to-read list? Please, please, please don't forget to include all this information at the comments. And that was it. This was our video for today. If you reached until this point, because yes, I know this video was huge. I know, I'm aware. Okay, don't forget to leave a book-related emoji, either like a knife or something like that for crime books, just a book, whatever you want anyway. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed this one, and see you next time with a makeup video, as always. Again, I'm wishing you to have an amazing day. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. And until next time, bye bye!